can it be controversial?
But I don't necessarily see it in the way it's being promoted.
People need to get their data in order.
You can't get left behind.
Where do you think we're heading? Where is the ecosystem going?
Interesting question.
And not only AI.
Yeah, there's been this little thing called AI. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah, I feel like the community is at a little bit of a crossroads right now. There's all this kind of AI hype and this big marketing engine behind all of this hype. But ultimately, we need to make sure that we don't lose track of the fundamentals, like building solutions that are resilient, that can handle lots of data and follow best practices. But ultimately, the fundamentals are there about building solutions that are resilient and can scale and are composable. Like, those are really important too. So I hope that amongst all of this messaging, we don't lose track of those fundamentals, because if we do, then we're going to have a different problem in a couple of years' time when we're mopping up that mess.
I think AI has been the biggest influence on people starting at a job. This is something that we didn't have 20 years ago, 10 years ago during our studies. And a lot of the basics seem to get lost. So even though AI can help you in getting to know the platform, it can generate code, it can create flows, it can make your life easier, but understand what it's actually doing. Because if it doesn't do what you want it to do, and you don't know how it works, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So AI is there to augment, to help, but it's not there to be your starting point.
The age of AI and Agentforce is so unknown at the moment. The different ways that people are going to use it when, we've got a lot of groundwork to do. People need to get their data in order. That's like, there's a whole thing that we need to do.
Oh, that's a whole thing.
But when we're ready, when people are ready, like, it's just going to fly and it's going to be really, really exciting. But I think everyone needs to help each other and get that together on sharing like how they did what they did and how they made it great.
I mean, having experimented and also enabled it at a very basic level, and then also built agents again at a very basic level for some of my clients, I do see a use case, but I don't necessarily see it in the way it's being promoted. Like, I don't necessarily think it is something that's front end where everyone's like, oh, it can do sales, it can build relationships. I genuinely see that agents do have a role to play, but not without identifying your use case. And those use cases do exist in businesses, but more on the back end and the ops side, where things are a little bit more structured, and therefore you can get agents to come in and assist, not necessarily overtake just yet, because the infrastructure and the process design has to be right first.
I have a small beef with how Salesforce is pushing for the AI agentic agenda, right? So as an example, firing lots and lots of people, but hiring sales team, account execs, to kind of sell and articulate the Agentforce value to kind of like get more implementation. I get that as a business, you kind of have to get on it because everyone's doing it. But they're forgetting the human touch and connection and all the people who are working in the community and in Salesforce, whom I know, love, and care for, who have been let go because of this move towards AI. And in their ethos of Ohana and caring about people, it just feels that that's kind of lost in all the messaging. So you are paying more attention to AI and people who pursue that, and less to everyone else who wants to focus on fundamentals. But we need leadership from Salesforce to say, hey, everyone, yes, you get on the Agentforce bandwagon, but you need good data. You need good it's not like processes. You need to have minimal tech that you need to look at your system and make sure that it is ready. And a lot of people are not ready. But let's look at the shiny things that it can do here and just forget about all the really important fundamental stuff like brushing your teeth. Like when I tell my children, it is fundamental, not sexy, but gotta be done if you want like a lifetime of just like good hygiene and good health. And that is being lost in the chasing of the shiny things.
So when it first came onto the forefront last year, I wasn't sure what that was all about, but I listened to a lot of podcasts about AI. Again, I always like to educate myself. A lot of people were posting online about it, on LinkedIn about it, but I'm one of those people that I like to figure it out for myself and educate myself. And so I started listening to different podcasts, learning more about agents in general. And it wasn't just Salesforce that was doing Agentforce. There were many other industries doing Agentforce or agents, whatever their name is for it. And the way that it was being presented, and I think is a great idea, is that you can't get left behind. So I credit Mark and Salesforce for staying innovative and staying ahead of the game and not getting left behind. So I think it's important that we all do the same. We all educate ourselves on AI. I've already gotten my Agent Blazer champion status and working on my innovator. I think anybody who's going to criticize agents or Agentforce should at the very least, take those trails so they can talk intelligently about it before they criticize. Everybody has an opinion, and I think everybody's entitled to that. But at least educate yourself before you get misinformation and you scare people, because it directly impacts our community.
Scary times we're living in now. AI is kind of taking over a lot.
Yeah, I think now being someone who's finished college to find a job, it's going to be more and more challenging in the future. As AI is taking a lot of the starting position tasks, like do research for this, or there's an agent for that now. And okay, they may not be on the level that we would expect a human to be yet, but at the rate that things are evolving, in a few years, it's going to be, I'm not actually even sure what they are going to be capable of. If you look at 2 years ago compared to now, image, video, code, it's mind-blowing.
It takes me to my next question, actually, or actually to my next interest. What do you predict that is going to happen to the Salesforce ecosystem in the next few years?
I think there's going to be a major shift of development over to developers who know how to use AI. A lot of things are going to change. How do we configure Salesforce and how do we work with Salesforce? We're going to be asking an AI to do configurations for us and validating what they're doing is being correct instead of doing all of the clicks and little bits ourselves. And that's going to change how careers are going to be grown and what tasks we will be doing in our daily jobs.
So you think that AI is going to be actually part of human being CVs? Like, can you handle AI in a good way?
I think that's going to be a critical requirement for anyone in the future. Like, can you use these tools? Do you have experience with Excel? There's going to be, do you have experience with these AIs?
Would it also in turn be something that Agentforce? Do you think that Agentforce is a big part of this, or?
This is going to be a big part of it because Agentforce can use any of those different AI models or bring your own. But each of these models has their strengths and weaknesses, and knowing what the strengths and weaknesses of each AI model are is going to be important. They're growing all into a specific direction, but it's still clear that one AI is better at one specific task compared to the other, just in the way that they were trained.
Let's hope that we're not going to lose our job.
Well, that's going to be, let's see in the future what's going to happen. At this rate, let's talk again in 2 years.
Oh my God, 2 years is too soon. Thanks, Thomas.
All right.